This is demo 11. So we're going to make shape 3 for this demo, but I'm going to show you 3 different ways to get the added piece on to the side of that shape. So we're going to go ahead and create a new part, and we're going to make a rectangle. I'm going to draw it on this vertical plane, XY plane, and I'm going to make it, if you count it out, you should get 8 wide, which is the dimension that it went to first, and it is 5 high. And so when you click home, you should see this rectangle, and then it looks to me to be 5 deep. So I'm going to make it 5, enter. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this big block, and then the first method is I'm just going to go ahead and chamfer this edge, and if you count where the corner would have been, it goes back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 in both directions, if I'm counting that correctly. So I could change this number to 5, and that should be the correct chamfer. So now I can't sketch that protrusion from this face, or it's going to go up at an angle. It'd be a 45-degree angle since this is a slope of 1. But what I can do is, since the shape touches this back side, I can sketch on this face, do a new sketch, and just start from this corner using the line tool. So I can get a green dot, and I can go straight up 3, and I can go straight over until I hit this wall, which should also be 3, and then I can go back to meet, which is the would be the hypotenuse of this triangle, and double click to end my shape. And so when I finish that sketch and extrude it, it's going to try to go this direction. I can just change the direction, and then I have to tell it how far to go, which is also 3. And so that's one way to make this shape. And if I click OK, and then if I click home, there I go. I have that piece added on. So if it didn't go to the back wall, though, you couldn't use that method. So let me show you a couple of different other methods. If I delete that extrusion. So another method would be to use ordering to do it. So if I get rid of the chamfer altogether, I can go ahead and sketch on this front face, which is where that piece starts from. So I can go ahead and put my rectangle here, even though I'm not going to go ahead and extrude yet, and I can make it 3, tab 3, enter, and then finish my sketch. So I have my sketch, it's not going to disappear, and then I can chamfer this edge, 5, and then I can extrude this sketch, and I can just make it go the other direction, and it'll just meet right into that block. And I can make it go 3, which will make it, I think, hit it. I can make it go more than 3. It doesn't matter because it's going to run into this block. And so that's method 2, and it should look the same exact way. You can see it runs in on the back. And then the last method is, I think, pretty cool. It's using the end of part tool. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, get rid of that. And the last method is, if you've already chamfered 5, but then you're like, oh no, I need to add a sketch back here. You can drag this end of part tool up above the chamfer, so it's like starting before you had done that move. You can go ahead and sketch on this face, and I can add that rectangle, 3, tab 3, enter, and then I can finish the sketch, and then you can bring the end of part back down. It's kind of like inserting a step back in another part of your model. And so now I can just finish that sketch out and click OK. So that's 3 different methods. One is just sketching on the back face. The other is ordering, so adding a sketch before you chamfer, kind of thinking ahead. And then the third method is going ahead and chamfering and then using the end of part to move up to a previous step and insert a step before the chamfer. And that is that completes 3 ways to do shape 3.